Hey folks, in this video we're going to be taking a look at the SlimQ 24-watt charger that has the adapter shown here that works with my Legion Pro 16, which I just got. So I'm doing the typical setup. I got an iPhone as well to show some B cuts, but this is the original size, which is 330 watts, and it's pretty heavy, around 6 pounds. And I just got back from travels in Japan where I took the SlimQ, and I'll be testing it with the Spy 3D testing along with recording on another computer, which is the Zephyrus G15. Giving some insight to audio track, what you're hearing is that is the actual sound coming from the benchmarks of the computer when it's plugged in, and then of course showcasing the SlimQ, which is significantly lighter and helped during my travel in Japan. But after realizing from this benchmarks, as you'll see, that there were some drops in the outputs. So in typical fashion, I recorded on a Sony a6000. I couldn't get my Elgato HD60S working for some reason, so I might have to replace that soon. And then of course this was recorded on Parsec on the Zephyrus G15. You can see here that it runs on performance mode, and we're just going to run the spy test and see how it does. We'll skip ahead, but I just wanted to showcase it with the recording raw so you could see how it performed. So once again, we are recording off the iPhone 14 with background noise, and this is a voiceover. Here I was just double checking that it was performance mode, and then here we have on the on-screen recording showcasing that, I got around 17251 and the average is 18,000. I think this might be due to recording on Parsec, but I'm not exactly sure. I haven't seen anywhere say that Parsec reduces graphical performance. But yeah, if you go back and slow down, you can see that. But now we are just going to be showcasing the SlimQ. So I use this in Japan, and I just wanted to showcase here that it auto goes to balance even though you select performance mode advantage, but you could show that in the Windows settings, so the power settings, you are able to actually select performance mode. So when you click here to balance, quiet mode works. But in the power settings or power options of Windows, you can see the difference between quiet mode and performance. So we're going to keep it at performance mode for this test to try to be balanced in terms of the power options, even though the Legion Vantage doesn't show this. And we'll just cut right back to how it does recording on screen with this one running in performance mode, quote unquote, off the SlimQ. So coming back to my desk after recording, we could see here with some B-roll footage, and of course I'm going to showcase it here, is that you get 10,000 score, and then it's showing, of course, that the average is 1,800, so significant drop of about 7,000. It's actually tracking back to almost my Zephyrus G14 scores with the 3070. You could feel free to scrub through or play back this part where I scroll through the graphical interface. But yeah, a significant drop in graphics score and CPU score, so something to consider when using the SlimQ. And I actually went back and tested in later parts in this video using the 100 watts, and I also had a separate anchor 100 watts. So I just wanted to talk about that. If you're using this on the airplane, the 100 watts actually trips the airplane, so it's kind of annoying. But just something to consider if you're wanting to travel with this device is that you're gonna get some, you're gonna have to turn some settings down in order to not trip the, I think it's like a 75 watt limit on airplane adapters. So I wish there's a way to do that on the SlimQ, or they forced one of their USB-Cs to only run that way. So the last thing I'm going to test here is going back into the 330 watt, and you can see that once you auto plug it in, it goes back to the settings advantage of showing the thermal mode of performance and the power option list as performance. I've listed in a previous video that actually when running off other adapters such as the USB-C or even the SlimQ, or actually this is just for the USB-C, that performance mode is the best way to not get lag. USB-C has some choppiness, and the power option of performance mode actually helps. So now you can skip through this video. I'm just going to showcase the raw output of the benchmarking. So as I mentioned earlier in this video, the last thing I realized I could test is the USB-C. So I unplugged the Elgato to use the 100 watt USB-C cables. That's something to also consider if you're using this device and want to use the power delivery, is you make sure you have USB-C cables that could significantly output 100 watts. I'm pretty sure that this one does, but when I was testing it and the hardware info wasn't actually showing, something I noticed is that significantly the fan noise turns down when you plug in the USB-C mode. So that could be something you may also consider if you're working at a coffee shop or something, to bring a USB charger or the SlimQ one and have lower fan noise depending on the settings you're working on. So yeah, just including some B-roll footage because I enjoy showcasing kind of the YouTube creation process, and that involves, you know, just showcasing A6000 because I recorded it. But yeah, you can see here after I noticed that it's done recording that it gets 9,000. So actually not that much difference. I was actually surprised. 9,000 with a CPU score of 7,000, as opposed to plugging in with a 240 watt SlimQ, which got 10,000, and I believe it was about an 8,000 score. So to put simply, the reasons why you would want to get the SlimQ is you can see here that the charge, the battery rate went down, whereas on the 240, it never did go down. At least from my observations of testing and gaming, I didn't really game too much in Japan, but I did some testing even before I left, and so pretty much this I've read online that the SlimQ 330 is just as heavy as the stock. So pretty much your options are you could get like an Anchor 100 watt, which I'll leave in the comments which is what I used before with my Zephyrus. And I got this machine because I thought when I was reading it that it would work on the airplane and not trip the power device, but unfortunately it does. So it was kind of annoying. I knew that the 240 watt would trip it, but I thought I read somewhere that 100 watts USB would not trip it. Anyways, when I was traveling to Japan, I wanted to do some laptop charging or stuff like that. It turned out that if you turn some settings down, you could not trip it, and the laptop doesn't use it. But just something to consider when using this device is that, um, at least testing from this Legion and the 1000 watt or 100 watt, sorry, is that you'll get some performance degradation as shown here with 900. But you have a lighter device. So if that's important for traveling and you don't want too heavy a device and want to travel lighter, the 240 SlimQ is, I believe, significantly weighs less, and you could tell when you're using it in a backpack, which I've made previous videos on traveling. Well, this wraps up the video. Hope you guys see the difference in performance, at least on this device, if you're considering getting the Slim Q. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this video, and if you guys are traveling with this laptop or traveling with any laptops, what you guys prefer, and if this is the solution for kind of this heavy Legion Pro 16, and then just using the Slim Q for a lighter weight profile when traveling. Are you willing to sacrifice performance while being on the go? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks. Bye.